Hey everybody, we're back here at WCEF, brought to you by Celsius. We have next Tristan Thoma. He's going to be telling us, he's the leader of product innovation and strategic solutions for corporations, governments, and startups implementing blockchain and advanced technology. Working throughout the US, Europe, Asia, and Africa, he has led strategic executive blockchain consulting for Salesforce, GE, Swiss Re, and Hyperloop, as well as with startup innovators in industries including asset management, supply chain, IoT, biotech, transportation, gaming, sports, real estate, and trading. He's going to talk to us about building nation-state Bitcoin infrastructure.
Thank you, Tatiana. I'm excited to be here. I appreciate the intro. Yes, so my name is Tristan. I am currently, and since the Bitcoin law went live, I've been the director of product for Chivo in Alphapoint. There's a lot of talk in the conference, obviously, about El Salvador and El Salvador's law, passing the Bitcoin law. And I'm actually in El Salvador, been here for almost 8 months now, since just after the law passed. When the president announced the law at the same time, he announced a tool, and it's actually an application, an app that every Salvadorian would have and use to access Bitcoin and to use Bitcoin in their daily life. And that app is called Chivo. And Chivo actually means cool in Salvadorian slang, and it is cool, I might say. And so I've had the honor of leading the development and deployment of the updated Chivo application. So every day we work closely with the government, we work closely with Chivo and all of our technology partners. And really, when I think about what it means to create or build national Bitcoin infrastructure, I mean, the impact I see every day. I can go into the system and I see 18-year-olds, Salvadorians, making their new Chivo account. And they get their $30. In case you didn't know, Chivo has a $30 kind of bonus or an airdrop, similar to the stimulus in the US. And so every 18-year-old has their first Bitcoin when they open their Chivo wallet. And when they are getting that, it's not just, $30 you can go ahead and use. It's also, for most people, it's their first bank account, and oftentimes their only bank account. About 70% of Salvadorians are unbanked, or I could say were unbanked. And with Chivo, they have a de facto bank account that holds not only dollars, but Bitcoin. And they have their first Bitcoin with Chivo. It's actually interesting to know that about, a vast majority of the country has a Chivo account now, about 80%, 4 out of 5 million Salvadorians have one, which means that there are more Bitcoin accounts than bank accounts in El Salvador. And that's really an incredible and empowering thing to see, that, this 18-year-old, he not only gets money, but he gets a free bank account. This bank account is not just a normal bank account. It is access to the global financial ecosystem that Bitcoin avails, which means, in addition to being able to use the banking system, he can now send money around the world in minutes instead of days using the Bitcoin infrastructure, and specifically on Chivo. And that is really going to change the way that he perceives the world. So from the empowerment perspective, this 18-year-old and every Salvadorian becomes part of the global financial infrastructure or ecosystem just by creating an account, which is free. It never uses data. We actually, we've worked with all of the telecom providers to make sure that anybody, even without a data packet, can use Chivo, can access their balance, send transactions, do all the necessary actions. And it's given them the opportunity to see the world as a new kind of generation of financially literate citizens. And so even if, this immediate term, we see, different kind of experiments with Bitcoin, in the long term, what we're seeing starting in El Salvador and what will come into every country in the world, ideally, is a generation of digitally financial literate people that have access to every country in the world. And it's interesting to see that in El Salvador in particular, because Chivo is a government project, or is a government-based project. Most countries, or every country, invests in roads and schools and hospitals to provide for their citizens. And now we're seeing a new type of public infrastructure, a new public utility, which is a financial utility, and it's a global financial utility. And so El Salvador has invested in this global financial utility to empower its citizens. And we've had the honor of powering that entire technology in that system. You can actually think of it like, imagine when the internet came out and everybody saw how impactful that was. We see this technology of internet as changing the world, changing people's access to globalization and connectedness. Imagine every 18-year-old just having access to the internet, provided by the government or provided on a national scale, how that would change the generation and how that would really accelerate globalization and education. So we see that as a tremendous opportunity for the population and as a premise for really every other country that's looking at it now. People had mentioned the Central Republic of Africa also now legalized Bitcoin. And so this trend will continue in empowering citizens to have access to the global financial ecosystem and to become financially literate and digitally literate all at the same time. I also want to take the opportunity to mention a few things that go into what it takes to offer, national Bitcoin infrastructure, because, we know the whole world is looking at us. We know that we're setting precedent for every country and every new system that will come in the next 100 years. And, a few of the key tenets that are system, really smooth integrations. When Chivo was launched, there were over 200 ATMs, knowing that El Salvador and many countries are cash-based. There are over 200 ATMs that people can put cash in and get Bitcoin, or use their Bitcoin and get cash. And it's a seamless process. I do it every day. We have integrations with all the legacy banks. And this is, again, critical part of, we don't want to just offer something new. We want to offer it in such a way that it can integrate with the mental map of people that are receiving this new technology and this new innovation. So they have access to cash, they have access to banks, bank integrations, they have access to credit cards. You can use your credit card and top up in Chivo, either in dollars or in Bitcoin. We make it extremely easy and intuitive to make payments in different ways, by different kinds of identifiers or QR or names, numbers. And is, of course, always to be able to convert smoothly between dollars and Bitcoin. So if somebody wants to offer either one or receive or hold either one, we make it super easy. And that's been an important part of it. We also found early on that merchant processing and point of sale devices and things like this that really don't come front of mind to what does it mean to use Bitcoin become a tremendous part of it. I go down and get lunch oftentimes and pay with my Chivo wallet at Starbucks or Papa John's, and I can pay with Bitcoin. I've been in the industry full time for about 6 years, and I remember, for years the dream was, can you buy coffee with your Bitcoin? And being here and buying coffee with my Bitcoin on Chivo it's in many ways a dream come true, really. Offering these kind of capabilities of doing everything you want in Bitcoin, any type of transaction in Bitcoin, not only locally, but also internationally, and integration with all the other types of wallets. Make sure it's super, super easy. Just like somebody would use a credit card, they can use Chivo. Just like somebody could use cash, they can use Bitcoin. And that's really the goal that we have and that we see for every country that wants to adopt this. And honestly, it needs to be that way. It needs to be seamless. It needs to be easy for people to actually understand it, to adopt it, to use it, to see it as a viable form of day-to-day transactions. And that is the opening for all of the idealistic impact and implications that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has in whatever iteration or manifestation it might have in any country around the world. Obviously, El Salvador is doing it in the way that the Chivo wallet does, and it's a beautiful implementation. And we're excited to be in conversations with other countries and other people that are looking at doing similar scale, utilities and public utilities or public tools or private tools that offer Bitcoin as a daily currency and method of exchange. I also want to mention that some of the challenges, because it's not all a rosy road. We've had challenges with scalability. Some people had mentioned the Lightning Network on this conference, Lightning being a way to send Bitcoin faster. So we've implemented and integrated Lightning into the core of the Chivo app, and that really assists with the scalability. We've integrated with a KYC provider that uses AI and machine learning to validate a person's identity, so that every person that gets the $30 bonus really is that person, and you can't kind of take somebody else's or steal somebody else's bonus. So we've improved upon that and put a tremendous amount of effort into making that a reliable and secure method of onboarding, as well as really educating, in the KYC process, that you use your phone and, you move your head and you have liveness. And a lot of people haven't engaged with this type of technology before. So we've seen that education is a big part of it. As people are understanding what digital financial, tools are, there are also new phishing schemes. There are new Ponzi schemes. There are people that always want to take advantage of change. And so, we've done a tremendous job in mitigating the impact of that. It's an ongoing effort, and, handling compliance as well has been a big thing of making sure that on a national scale, both now we're dealing with a new a new currency and a new asset that not only is a secondary, but it's never been done before. So it's been a fun time seeing, how to stay in compliance, how to stay secure, how to protect the Chivo users, how to make it easy at the same time. And really, just continuing to optimize the system's scalability and usability for every single day. The most kind of encouraging part about it is going out and seeing, people transacting in Bitcoin. We look at the charts internally, we see a really, really actually strong adoption curve, interestingly enough, that indicates that people are understanding more and more how this could be used, the benefits of it, not having to pay 5% for credit card transaction fees on Chivo. It's free and immediate. And with Bitcoin, you can have on-chain transactions with super low fees and, within 20 minutes as opposed to 20 days. If there's a net 30, perhaps on a credit card settlement or something like that for merchants. So it's an encouraging thing. And I know I just have limited time, but I want to really end off with some personal sentiment in my optimism for what this means, not only for El Salvador, which, as I've mentioned, is changing an entire generation's way of thinking and way of interacting with the world, but also for the other countries that are looking at Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general, and whatever type of way they're implementing it. I'm optimistic in the opportunity for people to have these global, borderless, fast transaction tools using cryptocurrency and using crypto wallets. What we saw, for example, with Ukraine, the president tweeted the Bitcoin address, and overnight that was one of the biggest crypto raises from an address, and that assisted tremendously with Ukraine's ability to to defend themselves in the war. And so, imagine if everybody in the world had that ability to access the global economy. I myself, I feel a tremendous honor to be able to lead this project, and Alphapoint, the company that is powering the Chivo wallet. For almost 10 years now, we've been powering exchanges around the world, and we're very, excited to power the first national payment system. We're excited to start conversations with other countries or other private or public entities that are looking at, scaled implementations of this, how it will look like. It's almost as if, again, we're setting precedent, just like the Supreme Court will set precedent for the next 100 years of law and judicial, direction. We're at the precipice of setting, the method of implementation of cryptocurrency and digital payments, global digital payments for the next 100 years. So both directly to everybody watching this, I'd like to, open up a conversation. Feel free to reach out to myself or anybody from our team. If you have questions, we're hiring aggressively. We're looking for passionate people. I moved to El Salvador and have not looked back the second I had the opportunity to be here, because we're nothing less than changing the world. So if you're interested in being part of it, feel free to reach out to myself or anybody at Alphapoint. You can go to our website. As well as if you're part of a conversation that is looking at national scale or large scale implementation of Bitcoin and or really any cryptocurrency, that is our strength. For almost 10 years, we've been around as a cryptocurrency exchange core, and we've branched out into payments, and this is a new strength of ours. And so we'd like to host those conversations with you, see how you're looking at implementing it, and see how we can assist and be part and perhaps even power the system that you're looking at doing. So again, I appreciate the time. I appreciate the opportunity to be here in El Salvador, making the impact that I am. I look forward to all of the future opportunities and conversations that will come from this. And again, feel free to reach out or post in the chat if you have questions. I'll be here for a little bit.